A very good evening and welcome to this special edition of Times Special here on Times Television. My name is Brian Banda. Glad you could join us tonight in this edition of the program. I'm highly privileged tonight to have President Lazarus Chakwera, torchbearer for Tonse Alliance, and also President of the Malawi Congress Party, MCP. Amayi ndi abambo, anyamata ndi atsikana. Ndikulandireni ku programu yathu yapadera usiku uno, imene tikuyitchula kuti Times Special. Ndi yapadera chifukwa tilinso ndi munthu wapadera. Dr Lazarus Chakwera ndi amene akuyimira gulu la zipani limene likutchedwa kuti Tonse Alliance. Iwo wanso ndi president wa chipani cha Malawi Congress. Ndine Brian Banda, ndakondwa kuti limodzi madzulo ano. Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, because of Corona, we're not shaking hands, but thank you very much for joining us tonight here on Times Television.
It's an honor.
We are meeting a few months after you came back, actually a few weeks, I must say, after you came back from the court. What kept you going in those months you kept going to court?
That's a good question. You know, Malawians' plight has always energized me to seek justice. And the support of the nation crying for justice, when you look at what had transpired, I was feeling, you know, even when you look at the support of Dr. Schliemann and his team, witnesses, and then we had our own, the lawyers, and we felt like this is worth doing. And of course, I had the support of family. They've always stood by me. And above all, I have the greatest support from above.
Did you believe or know that we would have a judgment at that particular point of time? Because others have said that this case could have taken too long. Years, maybe.
Probably so, but I had the conviction right from the beginning when I saw that that election had been botched, and I said, I'm going to challenge this in the courts. And at that time, we had been encouraged by what the judiciary had done in order to expedite election cases. And so we didn't believe that it would take years. Even though we didn't believe that it would take as long as it did. But when you look at what was being exposed, then one understood that this was a very important process in the fight for justice.
Tell us, how do you remember those days you kept on going to courts almost every day for months? How do you remember those days? Sitting outside on benches, you kept on laughing a lot. I don't know what you were laughing. Going back to those times, how do you remember those days?
When I look back, and then I can see how people in the villages were listening to the court process, I would afford to smile, I would afford to laugh, because I knew that it was not just me sitting on a bench. It was villagers in Doha, in Chitipa, old folks even down in Chapananga, listening and following every day. I said, I will do it for them.
So you're doing it for the local man out there.
In fact, I said it over and over again. I said, this is, not just about Chakwera. It's not even about Schliemann. It's about Malawians.
President Mutharika still believes that what has happened in Malawi is a judicial coup. He calls it pathetic and sad. He went on to say that even other countries are laughing at us for a court, a constitutional court, and a Supreme Court agreeing with the constitutional court that the 21 May elections should be nullified. What's your take on this one, President Chakwera?
Doesn't that sound strange to you, Brian? That courts deal with issues of evidence. They don't deal with opinions. And if he expresses that kind of opinion, you're talking about Constitutional Court judges, 5 of them, unanimously saying they are convinced by the evidence brought before them. And then the one you say, was saying it's a judicial coup.
You don't want to mention President.
He takes the case onto the Supreme Court. And 7 justices of appeal unanimously uphold the judgment of the lower court. In fact, if that is his opinion, then he is pretty much saying the whole judiciary, which is one arm of government, is senseless. You have Parliament that followed through with what the judiciary said, and on its own discovered that certain things were so. And he becomes the only wise one. Malawians are no fools. They can, determine who among the 3 arms of government is a senseless one.
That's all what you can say regarding to what.
And I wish he named the countries outside that are laughing at us. If anything, I know we have been held in high esteem because of the justice that has been rendered as a result of the judgment of the courts. And we are highly commended for standing up for people's rights and people's justice. And then you have someone out of the blue, maybe living in a world of his own, maybe living in delusion, saying this is a judicial coup. Really?
We saw you working hand in hand with President of UTM and the State Vice President, Dr. Schliemann.
Yes, sir.
When the issues of alliance came, people were of the view that you had started talking at the courts. Is that a fair way of looking at the scenario that we have right now, you pairing with Dr. Schliemann?
I believe it's because that was the more visible way in which they saw us.
Yeah.
But that was not the first time that we talked. And so the people's will, which is what I believe Dr. Schliemann and myself, because we want to be servants of the people, that is what we listen to. And naturally, because we had been together, we went on to being together a little more.
So what necessitated you coming together? Was it what people were saying? Was it the church? We hear that bishops, members of the clergy, were involved. How true are these reports? We hear that so many people approached you to say, you are looking good together, you have the same cause, maybe you should partner together. But I want to know who initiated this deal?
Well, it's both of us, because you must understand.
Yeah.
In the process of time, you begin to realize that we have a common vision because we're listening to the cries of the same people. And what they are saying, we are hearing almost the same sound.
Yeah.
And so we said, why don't we just move like, you know, you're marching to the same drum? And that's what we did. Because we said, Dr. Schliemann and myself have strengths, and we can use those strengths to partner and create a synergy that serves Malawians better.
Is that, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, what we were talking during break time at courts?
Not necessarily, but we talked about a whole lot of things.
Like what?
Oh, you know, we just enjoyed ourselves, how the witnesses and how the cross-examination, for example, was taking, you know, going on, and how, you know, because both of us, it was the first time that we were being cross-examined, and so it was fun. At the same time, we were concerned, of course, as time dragged on, we moved faster. But in the end, we were just thankful that things were moving the way they were. And so during break times, we would sometimes consult. We could consult with counsel separately or jointly, and we'll be, you know, appraised as to how things were happening, particularly even those things that would happen in chambers, and they would brief us. So there was a whole lot of things going on. Other times it was just fun and joking and trying to remain sane in an insane context.
Can you share with our viewers, if you may, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, how did you come to a point of now knowing who is going to be the torchbearer and the running mate? And I also want to learn from you if at all that was a difficult task to handle.
You know, like I told you, Dr. Schliemann and I had been talking and were talking, and these things were not left to groups of people at all. It was just him and I.
Yeah.
And as we interacted, this is what we decided would be for the best, not just looking at us, but looking at what the people were demanding.
So when we went to Kamuzu Institute of Sports,
yes,
that day when you were signing the manifesto,
right,
was it already clear to both of you that you would be the torchbearer?
For both of us.
And that Dr. Schliemann would be the running mate?
For both of us, it was already done.
So why was it difficult to announce at that particular time?
No, it wasn't difficult. It was managing.
Yeah, go on. I would like to hear what managing means.
You want to hear more?
Yeah.
It was, you know, the art of politics sometimes is to manage expectations and as well as manage context so that we would be bringing people along with us. And even those that came to join us as we signed that agreement in terms of the Tonse, that dream was there, but that was yet to unfold.
Yeah.
To you know, almost like a flower comes into full bloom. And so the flower hadn't changed, but it has come to full bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hear of so many things in the compact.
Like what?
We hear that you'll be a one-term president, and that after 5 years, Dr. Saulos Schliemann will take over. How true are these reports?
And where did you hear that? Or maybe it's your interpretation of what you may have heard.
Maybe it's my interpretation, but I was to cling on to that question. What's in agreement?
Now, look at it this way.
Yes.
As I have previously intimated, Dr. Schliemann and myself have strengths that can complement each other in serving Malawians, because we are determined to bring forth a type of leadership that has a different emphasis. And with his strengths and my strengths combined, we form a synergy that will truly serve Malawians in a way that a single person would not.
Yeah, but you're not, with due respect, Dr. Chakwera, you're not answering my question.
Well, you could repeat the question.
The question is it true that if you are elected on June 23?
No. If you're asking about a one-term presidency, that's not true, and nobody has said that. We are serving Malawians, and together we will be reviewing what we have as we serve. And so what is the problem serving a one term, and what is the problem not serving a one term? That is not the issue. We must focus on making sure that Malawians get saved, in a sense, from the maladministration that is currently putting them in big trouble.
Dr. Chilima has said more than once that he will take over after you. And this is why I'm asking this question.
He is saying right,
He's saying
but
right.
Is that a problem?
No.
And does that define any terms? It doesn't. So I'm saying do not jump to a conclusion just because Dr. Schliemann said so and so.
Okay, so it may not be after 5 years or 10 years?
If it is or if it is not, what is that to you? The important thing right now is let Dr. Chilimann's strengths and my strengths get combined to form a synergy that is unbeatable.
I want us to move on from this question. But before we move on, I want our viewers to get us very clear. And this question is very important for both our viewers and even myself.
Right.
So, if you win on June 23, becoming the president.
When?
23, June 23.
When? I didn't say if, I said when.
Okay. Also, so the question is not if.
No.
So you are certain you're going to win.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you win, using your own words.
Right.
Are you going to be a one-term president or two-term president? I want you to come very clear on that one.
That is undecided.
That is undecided.
Right.
Okay, I'll decide. I'll choose then to move on.
Thank you.
What else is in the agreement?
There are many things, but they are to do with what I just said. What strengths does Dr. Schliemann bring to the table in terms of serving Malawians? Those will be utilized. What strengths do I bring? Those will be utilized. You remember my emphasizing, for example, in the high five, issues to do with servant leadership, issues to do with uniting this country, issues to do in making sure that everybody prospers alongside everybody else, issues to do with fighting corruption and the looting of government resources, and issues to do with the rule of law. And within that context, you will see that there are issues to do with the economy and issues to do with governance. And when you bring them both, you can see how Dr. Schliemann and myself make an unbeatable team.
Allow me to take a short break.
Thank you.
We'll be back with you, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, in a moment.
Appreciate you.
In case you're just joining us, this is Times Special, airing on Times Television. I'm joined by Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, Tonse Alliance torchbearer and president of the Malawi Congress Party. We'll take a short break. We'll be back momentarily. This is Times Television. I'm having a conversation with Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, president of the Malawi Congress Party and torchbearer for Tonse Alliance. Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, welcome back to the other half of the program.
Thank you very much.
In the event that Malawians trust you to be our next head of state and government, how are you going to manage that success together with Dr. Schliemann? I'm asking this question bearing in mind that since our multi-party democracy, relationships between the president and his deputy or vice hasn't been very well. There are people who are masters of making enmity between the two. And actually when the enmity is there are people that take advantage. What about after June 23, after you win? How are you going to manage that success so that you remain together as a team?
That's a very good question. Brian, I am Lazarus. And I haven't just come here and be what I am without coming from elsewhere. My philosophy in terms of leadership is one that serves and empowers. You may have heard me lament the fact that Dr. Schliemann is an asset that has been underutilized. I've said that in Parliament a number of times. I've said that outside Parliament. And if you look at my history and the way that I have served, not just in this country, not just on the African continent, but worldwide, you will see that my service has always been that of working with everyone I work with and empowering them to become the best they can ever be. That's what I have been involved in, even in terms of pastoring and training. And I am proud these days to sit under the leadership and the pastoral care of someone that I respect highly, but someone that I have raised and trained.
So we should not anticipate divisions between you two?
No. The kind of divisions you are referring to.
Yeah.
No. When you talk and you disagree and you reason out things, that is the natural way in which people interact. And that is not division. When you're talking about differences of opinion over certain things, and then after you discuss that, you come to a conclusion to say, now, let's move with this. That is what I have thrived on all my life, because I like contrarian views, so we are able to come up with the best. That is not division.
What kind of a president are you going to be, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera?
I'm going to be a president that serves people, that listens to people's cries and people's aspirations and people's problems, and tries his best to respond to such by way of service. I will be someone that will, like I have always said, unite this country that is currently divided regionally and divided tribally and divided religiously. Other people are trying to even make it an issue where there are more divisions in this country. And I'm going to be a president that unites. and I'm going to be a president. That does not make sure people go hungry and people are unlearned, or people are poor, just so they can look up to me as a benefactor, as someone who supplies this. I'm going to be someone that empowers them so each group, particularly the youth and women, have the capacity and the ability to raise themselves up because they've been given the environment in which they can prosper. I'm going to be a president that will not smile at corruption, a president that will not tolerate the looting of public funds. And I'm going to be a president that respects the rule of law. I do not like anarchy. I don't like what I see these days. When leadership gives the example of disrespecting, for example, court rulings.
In the event that you are sworn in, what are you going to do in the first 90 days, for example, the first 3 months?
We'll make sure that Dr. Schliemann and I put together a cabinet that follows this philosophy I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. We'll make sure that we go to Parliament and enact certain legislation immediately to make sure that we change things to suit the needs of Malawians. For example, so that we are able to begin right away to empower farmers across the country. Mm-hmm. So we'll be doing that. And then we'll make sure that we also deal with the engine that drives what Parliament legislates or appropriates, which is the civil service, and make sure that we have the best beginning right away, because people are just waiting on wings sometimes thinking, where are we headed? And so if we provide that direction, that will have to happen immediately. And then we will also make sure that those that have cried out so loud, as we have promised, we will give them answers. For example, people with urbanism have been crying out for answers. There's been studies done, or not studies, but rather, what do you call them? Funds that have been given to groups to look at their plight, what has happened, and then they need more funds when they should have given that report by now. And why is that? We had promised that we would have answers within a month, and we will. So that is within that 90 days. We will make sure that everyone knows now this is a place where people will respect the laws. Do not fear a person. Fear the law. Respect the law. Let the law run its course. Then everyone will be happy in the villages. Because right now, this mob justice is not serving anyone's interest. People have lost loved ones. People have lost loved ones because they don't trust the systems there. So we will begin to make sure that the institutions begin to be strengthened right from the word go.
I'm glad you talked about a forming cabinet in the event that you are elected into office. Is it true that some positions have already been given to some people?
It is not true, and everyone has a right to speculate. They do not know neither Chakwera nor Schliemann.
What about the state vice president, who is your running mate, has said more than once he's going to be finance minister and minister responsible for reforms? Where is he getting all those?
No. Listen to me.
Yeah.
And listen very, very carefully.
I'm listening, Dr. Chakwera.
Listen very, very carefully. Dr. Schliemann and I will sit down and work out those things when the time is right.
My question is, where is he getting those? statements.
No, he has a right. He has a right to express what he would desire to do.
So he's only expressing his desire to be a cabinet minister.
And when you listen to him carefully, you will see that that is what he did.
Is it something that you have discussed?
No, we haven't.
You have not discussed him being the finance minister and minister responsible for reforms? No,
I wouldn't want to be lying to you. No, we haven't. I'm saying we will use him, like I said, publicly, where he is best suited.
Where is he best suited, Dr. Chakwera? As a cabinet minister or as a minister?
No. Wait a minute. You must remember that a vice president is part of cabinet.
Yeah.
He is already there. And when we do agree on how we disperse responsibilities, because that is service from time to time, you cannot say, oh, I will be this forever. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you must understand in terms what government machinations work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm referring to. So if I express that desire, there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about reports we are hearing that there will be sharing deals in terms of cabinet? Him appointing his cabinet, or not appointing, but suggesting names for the cabinet, and you also suggesting names for cabinet. How true are these reports?
Listen,
yes.
When you consult, this is not meant to be a one-man show.
Okay.
Not even a two-man show.
You mean your presidency if you win?
When I win.
Okay.
Dr. Schliemann and I. And we are given the chance to serve Malawians.
Yeah.
We consult. We talk about things.
Okay.
We talk about people.
Okay.
We talk about their strengths and we talk about their weaknesses.
Okay.
Because leadership discusses people.
Okay.
And so when we do, we come up with the best at that time that we can say, let's go with this team.
Including
cabinet. Why not?
Sorry?
Including what?
Cabinet.
Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a good question. Why not? Because I thought I had misunderstood.
No. I was just emphasizing that you'll be consulting each other.
We need to.
Yeah.
And if people know me, that's what I do. The problem with some of you folks is that when I haven't taken your particular advice, you thought I didn't consult. But I listened to somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'll take your advice you give me today, I'll use it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So don't take offense just because, he doesn't consult. No, just say he didn't take what I said because he may have consulted others. Yeah. But in this particular case, we want to work so closely together to serve, because that has been my modus operandi all my ministry life.
You also talked about corruption, and I see when you talk about corruption how passionate you are.
Yes.
I'm using if because I'm a journalist.
Yeah, I understand.
And you are saying when.
And you have a right to be skeptical, but
I'm not being skeptical. But I just wanted to know, Malawians are complaining about corruption. Yes. People that have stolen government money. If Malawians trust you to be their leader in these coming elections, fresh elections, what about those that have stolen public money? What are you going to do with them?
I'm going to do nothing. Let the law be the one that does stuff. If you say, I'm going to do this to you, I'm going to do this to this one, I'm going to do this to that one, it's like I am the one that makes those determinations. What I'm saying to you, when I say you must fear the law, I'm saying if you don't fear the law will get you.
What about those that might rush to join you in the event that you become president and be part of your side?
Actually, right now, we have a Tonsi Alliance, 9 parties, And we still have room for more if you want to come join. I mean, if you have a party, that is. But when you talk about people rushing to what? When they come to say, oh, we have heard about your clarion call to build a new Malawi and to make sure that that new Malawi is a country that becomes home to us all.
Yeah.
Then you say, sure, let's build. Let's build together. But if you're talking about rushing in order to get this or that, thinking that we'll get that benefit, no, we are serving Malawians, not serving ourselves.
One of your killer punch, if I may be allowed to use that word, in your campaign is the fertilizer subsidy, reducing the price of fertilizer.
Yes, sir.
Others are doubting if fertilizer can be sold below 5,000 kwacha price.
You tell the doubting Thomases.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, sometimes we use that phrase.
Speaking like a pastor.
You tell everyone that doubts that they should no longer doubt. We know who imports fertilizers. We know where they get these fertilizers. We know how much they pay for these fertilizers. They are the ones who have actually assured us that this is a doable thing.
Below 5,000 price.
I just said so.
It's doable.
Yes, sir. You better believe it.
Because others are thinking like it's a campaign gimmick.
No, it's a service to Malawians. Malawians have been ripped off.
So how are you going to make sure that it's not abused so that we have foreigners buying our cheap fertilizer in bulk?
Well, you know, you have to make sure every time that you roll out a program that you do have safeguards. And we will make sure that those that implement this are following strict safeguards. And I'll make sure that that is followed. No, we are not going to be importing these things so we can export to other folks. We are doing this as a service to Malawians. And anyone caught trying to be clever by way of abusing that system will face the law.
Why should Malawians vote for Lazarus Chakwera and not vote for President Mugabe?
Yeah, I guess because they have a choice. But, you know, strictly speaking.
What wrong has President Mugabe done that deserves to be booted out of government?
Why don't you ask that question to the Malawian that is languishing out there and seeking and dreaming and pushing for change? Why? In fact, in this campaign, they don't have a right to go out there and say, we promised you a better Malawi, we promised you this. Where have they been? Or we will bring this change, we will do this. They should be telling Malawians, what we are doing currently, we will improve on this, or we will do this because we have made you prosper like this. Go ask farmers how there's hunger out there, and they're looking for someone that will help change that situation. Go and ask the young people, the majority of whom are languishing out there, no jobs, no money, no place to stay. Ask the women and find out they have completely lost confidence in this administration. Ask those that are doing businesses. Ask the vendors. Ask those that are being charged high taxes. You know, why they can't even travel. The passports are so expensive. Licenses are so expensive. Ask those that are having to lay off people because they can't make ends meet, even in that company that was employing 2,000 people. Ask those people and say, is this administration doing good? Has there been a context in which everyone is truly prospering in this country? They are the ones demanding change.
there is so much going on the poor debt. We might be in a constitutional crisis if we are not careful. What are your thoughts if we don't go to pause on June 23 or July 2?
My thoughts? Then we are acknowledging the fact that we are a lawless nation, that we love to create chaos, that we love to be directionless, that we love to be a people without any decisive action when that action needs to be taken. I think we will be doing Malawians a great deal of disservice.
Do you still believe that the president of Malawi has so much powers that even if you become president, you are ready to let go some of those powers?
I have said so, and I believe we will continue to advocate and act on the same. For example, my dream is not to get power accumulated into one place, into one president, but get institutions so empowered that when they function, then the whole machinery functions and moves in one direction. A president should be able to offer a vision, a direction, and to be able to say, this is where we go, this is where we have the promised land, and this is where everyone must be in agreement. Once that vision is shared and it becomes a corporate vision, then we can all move in that direction regardless of who is leader at any given point in time.
Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, time is not on our side, but we have continuously seen the absence of Mrs. Chakwera. And people are asking, where is Madame Monica Chakwera?
Well, she is in the country. And as I speak to you now, she just came in. You know, after the February 3rd ruling of the Constitutional Court, I think a couple of days later, she had to leave because we had something within our family that needed her attention.
Okay.
And then, a week later, all of these COVID-19 things blew up everywhere, and so she was locked down.
Okay.
And sad that we had to bury her mother in her absence.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's since come.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would be your finishing thought for tonight? Why we don't know whether it's June 23 or July 2. Someone watching us tonight,
yes,
standing in that voting booth on that particular day, should choose you as a president. We'll finish on that note. And I want you to look at that camera.
Oh, are you?
and why
yeah.
that decision has to be made on that day. Ticking where your face is. Choosing you as president of the Republic of Malawi.
Yes. I want you to know that when you stand in that booth and you look at the candidates, and my name will be on top first, and you say, I'm ticking on this name, Chakwera, because I want change. And I want change that will be good for Malawians. I want change that will ensure that those in leadership serve us as Chakwera is promising. I want change because those in leadership unite us as Chakwera is preaching and sharing and emphasizing. I want change because those leading us will make sure that we prosper. I'm talking to you, Amai. I'm talking to you, young person. Your name is John or you are Mrs. Banda and so on forth. I want you to say, when I am in that booth, I am voting for Chakwera because I am tired of the corruption that is going on in this country, and going to hospitals where there's no medicines, and going to schools where our children can't even have an environment to learn right, and the teachers don't even get paid right, and so forth. I am choosing change because the corruption will end, and the theft will end, and the services will be mine. And I'm choosing change, and I'm choosing change because I take on Chakwera's name, because Chakwera will respect the law, and he will make sure all Malawians respect the law. We become a law-abiding nation with citizens. So I'm choosing Chakwera because he represents the genuine change that will bring in the transformation that has tarried, because those that are serving now are serving themselves. That is the choice you have, and I believe you will make it, and you will not regret it.
Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Well, on that note, we conclude this edition of the program, Times Special. We have been privileged tonight to have Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, torchbearer for Tonse Alliance and president of the Malawi Congress Party. My name is Brian Banda. From all of us here in Blantyre, thanking you for joining us tonight, and goodbye.